Well, good evening, everyone. I sure hope my microphone was turned off. It's supposed to be muted while all that's running. So I'm sitting here going through stuff and singing and realizing that, I'm pretty sure I'm muted. But if I wasn't, well, you got a pre-show show. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another Thursday and another Random Encounters Live, where I do improv cartooning. We take some random encounter tables like you find in Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop role playing games, and I use a die roller to pick a who and a what, and then I draw it. And meanwhile, I chat with all you. And I see we've already got a bunch of people in the chat room to start with. So let's start by saying hello to, let's see, Dave and Linnea, and I'm guessing Gus is probably there, the Austin crew. Dale just popped in and said hi. Uh, the now retired Cindy. Oh, Cindy, yes. Congratulations on your retirement. I'm sure that you're going to sit around and do nothing for the rest of your life. I know you far too well. You're going to be even busier in retirement and probably even more successful. And hello to Serenity Art Studio. Not sure exactly who that is, but welcome. Glad to see you. Anyone who's watching on Facebook, we have in the past had problems with what you type in the Facebook chat showing up here for me to see. And so if I'm ignoring you, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that I can't see what it is you're saying. So, sorry about that. Anyway, how you all doing? Everyone doing good this week? I've had a very busy week. I've been doing a lot of drawing for a project for a private client, which always makes for a good week for me. I love it when I get to draw a lot. And now I'm going to do some drawing for you, or for me, or for us. So, without any more blabbering, let's get into it. Let's come in here. And sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm setting up the screen so that I can come over to this view and we can see our random encounter tables. I was realizing today that I really haven't changed the bonus board much, mainly because we haven't used it, and I like those topics. Maybe now we get out of the summer, I'll, at least on the what side, I'll cycle some of those into the regular what's, since we're getting out of the summer fun era. The who's, those are all, so maybe we can take some time later and discuss it. But so far, I've really made this show focused on D&D and fantasy centric things. It doesn't have to do that. In fact, I certainly have been thinking specifically about doing some shows where the who list is pointedly not that, it's something else. But right now, that's what it's been. And our bonus board is filled with things that are not necessarily D&D related, but are fun to draw. Anyway, again, I go on. You'd think I like the sound of my own voice or something. Let's get to this. We're going to roll the dice. Something like this. This one doesn't count. This is an example. Like this. Once, twice, third time, and that'd be the number. So the number would be 5. So, now, this one, not an example. This one's real. This one counts. Once, twice, third time, and it's 6. 6 is adventurers. I know that, because I always have adventurers in the 6th spot. So, start thinking about what ways you might want to help me figure out how to interpret that. Let's find out what the what is before we do that, though. So we're going to roll again. Once, twice, third time is a charm, and we go to 4. And 4 over here is a fishing trip. Got adventurers and a fishing trip. I think I met you at Live Streaming Pros. Could be. I've met a lot of really cool people at Live Streaming Pros, so that's probably it. Bob Barker would be a good addition to the bonus board. I guess I'm not sure how much of how good a Bob Barker caricature I could do, but certainly worth considering. Definitely worth considering. All right, so let's get to this. We're going to turn off the tables, and we're going to come to the sketch layer. Put on blue because I like to do my sketches in blue. Um, and we're going to have a fishing trip. So let's see. We're going to need a little boat. We need waves. Let's kind of lay out the land. Um, you know what? I already have an idea, and I'm going to need a different boat. I'm going to need a bigger boat. I'm going to need a bigger boat. So I'm going to come to the layer, and on this layer, I'm going to clear the layer and get rid of that so I can start again. I'm going to put a rough level of the sea. Maybe that's a little too big. I think you've got a very good idea of what it is I'm going for here. So I'm not gonna talk about it. Let's see. I suppose it doesn't have to really be a fish, does it? I mean, it could make it some kind of monstrous fish. All right, got a good layout here. Um, I'm getting Pictionary mode. It says, "Look at all the chatting going on." Okay, so we got some. I want to lower this on the page a little, so I have room to put maybe some word balloon up at the top. I'm still not sure about that fish. I'm not sure about whether we're going to come with a shark or a monstrous sea creature. What do you guys think? Megalodon, says Cindy. Loch Ness monster. Good turtle, dragon turtle. And the problem, the trick is, it's got to be something that's recognizable just by the head, because I'm not going to be showing anything that's below the waterline. So whatever I have in there has got to be end up being recognizable as. All right. There we go. Good. Let's go to the lines layer and start putting some lines in here. remember to make my eraser a little smaller, because when it comes time to use it, I don't want it to be that huge. All right, you know what? Let's start with the fishing rod. Because I'm going to have to make our fishermen conform to that. So maybe better to start with it. And then I won't need to worry about making it fit later on. And that's another one of those tricks that you get when you've been doing drawing for a while, is you realize what you need to put in first so that you have the information you need later on. Now, as I often say, the fact that I'm working digitally means that I can very easily change it, but I'd rather get it right the first time. It's quicker and it's easier, and have Elf there with her hands on her hips. The boat, of course, is going to be here. Now, the boat is going to be the Orcus, which is a D&D pun and a Jaws pun. All right. So, we got a go gnome or go home. We got a gnome here on the line. That's Dale's favorite line: go gnome or go home. And as it turns out, I am a huge gnome proponent, so. Right, I'm kind of getting to the point where I got to figure out what that fish is going to be. Oh, so see, oh, got a lot of going on. I'm gonna just take a pause and see what's going on here in the chat room. A lot going on. Lot going on. Fishing for whales and advantage. Got to scroll up a bit. People saying hi and getting to know each other. That's nice. Bob Barker, I read that before. The Midgard Serpent. Yeah, we had back with some. I'm still thinking about what I can do on this head to make it clearly one thing or another. 2 crabs and a half elf. Hello, Penny. Thank you for showing up. Glad to see you here. Um, how am I streaming from my iPad? I am. The quick answer is that I am air streaming from my iPad to my desktop, and then I'm using an app called Ecamm Live, and from there I'm sending it out to a service called Restream.io. So there you go. That's how I'm doing it, if that means anything to you. Um, hmm, let's start with the mouth. Again, kind of start with something, commit to something, and then work with it. And if I do that right, it'll fill and not fill the whole page. Yes, there we go. Good. Here we go. I think that's kind of clearly some kind of beastie. Not a fish per se, but there we go. Part of the trick here is that the water the thing's coming out of the water, and I can have the water go off to either side, but I really don't want it to come straight at the camera. That's not going to read well. There we go. That's looking all right. Put a couple more. Lines of water. Excuse me. Excuse me. Must need to dust around here. Okay, so we've got and he's going to be saying, get down there and hook him. All right, so we're going to turn off the sketch lines, look at what we have here in the line lines, and see that we maybe just need a little more detail around there so that it's clear what's going on. Guess the elf's hair is also a little bit off, but colors ought to bring that in. And thank you, Dale and Dave. All right, so let's throw some quick colors on there, and then we'll call this one good. All right, so I want to switch brushes over to my gloaming brush, which is what I use to get that kind of crayony slash markery. Uh, what's it? The word, the alcohol marker look. Put some color on our fighter's hair and the elf. Have a blonde elf. Why not? All that time in the sun would have lightened it up anyway. Goodness, that sneeze is leaving me feeling. Hold on a second. I'm going to mute myself for a second here. Pardon me, didn't want you to have to listen to that. Bonus is Monster of the Whales, Gaping Maw. Yeah, if we pull back enough. Let's give our gnome some interesting colored hair. Why not? He's a gnome. He can do that. He can dance if he want to. No, let's not do purple. Let's go with a green. Now, again, if I do this, or if I go across in stripes like that, it creates that feeling of wave pattern that the ocean has with, waves and all. Go a little darker here. And then I can also add a little extra. By adding a darker blue, that gives the feeling that the waters are deep. a lighter blue would give the idea that it was shallow, kind of Caribbean. There we go. Looking good, looking good. Speaking of light blue, show that we're out on the open sea. Here we go. And we've got adventurers on a fishing trip. So I'm going to take those colors and I'm going to drop the opacity on them a little. So let me get this out from behind there so you can see it while I'm working on that. Those are all very strong colors. As I say, I often have said, I tend to think in these strong colors, and then when I'm finished, I'm like, I wish I was a little more subtle about that. But with a white backdrop behind them, I can just come in and drop the opacity by 10%? 15? No, 15 too much. There we go, about 10%, and that just eases those colors up a little and makes it look a little better. So, come back there and stick a little address on that. And we have a drawing. Now I just had a knock at my door, which doesn't happen very often, so I'm going to mute you here again, and I will be back in a second. I can't explain that easily. Someone dropped something off at my door. Let's just leave it at that. The fish looks like it's having second thoughts. Well, if you saw a gnome up there, wouldn't you? All right. Excellent. Let's move on. Come back. Turn that off. Turn the tables back on. Turn the tables. And let's do a second drawing, shall we? Let's see what we get for a second drawing. Mysterious stranger, says Dale. Yes, yeah, well, I don't, you know what? By the time I got up and got out there, they had left. So I don't even know exactly who it was that knocked on my door. Let's see. Let's come over here, and once, twice, third time, 5 is what we got for the Who this time. That means an Umber Hulk. I like Umber Hulks. Seems like every time I put one on the list, it gets rolled right away. It doesn't sit around for weeks waiting to get rolled. The dice seem to like them too. Hello, here's Jimmy. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. Let's see, what is our Umber Hulk going to be doing this time? I think last time the Umber Hulk was hosting a game show. Something different this time. All right. Once, twice, third. Oh, redo that. Once, twice, third time. We got a 3. 3 is surfing. A surfing Umber Hulk. All right. That Umber Hulk is definitely having some summer fun. Yeah. Talk about things that the dice seem to like. If I put something that has to do with beaches or the water, the dice just roll it. Like those don't sit up there very long either. All right, so we're going to come up. We're going to go to the sketch layer. We're going to turn back over to blue. Make sure I'm on the inking level, and we're going to have a surfing Umber Hulk. So an Umber Hulk, for those of you who do not know, is a D&D monster. It's a giant insectoid creature with a very strange looking head with two sets of eyes. It's a big, not surprisingly, hulking creature. Big mandibles and uh, antennae. They're pretty cool. That's why I like them so much. All right, now that's taking up a lot of space on the page, so I'm gonna have to shrink that down. We're gonna zoom in again so I can draw it. It's gonna be on a surfboard. What's a surfer? Is it surfers? That's Ditko hands, right? Surfers are just a thumb and a pinky. Is that what it is for surfers? Just a thumb and a pinky? Let me know. Let me know in the chat so I get this right. I'm going to take this and move it around again so that I can. Um, I'm looking at this and I keep thinking that it reminds me a little bit of uh, the the classic Hokusai with Mount Fuji in the background. But what is if we get rid of that, maybe we can have the Eye of Sauron up there, and it could be Mount Doom in the background. Surfing Mordor. You guys looking up that surfing hand gesture for me? Because if I get to the end and I've got to look it up, I have to pause to do that. And let's see. Okay, I just need to get a couple more lines in there so I know exactly what I'm doing here. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. I guess over here that'll be our line in the background. Serving hand is indeed just thumb and pinky. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that help. Let's make it happen. Make sure I'm on the lines layer. And we'll start. Ooh. With the mandible. Why? I don't know. Because I'm feeling it. I say it's important that you're doing something you're confident in. Say they're weird creatures because they've got two sets of eyes. Well, they're weird creatures for a lot of other reasons, but got big, heavy carapace, but also weirdly thin and spindly sections. Like the shoulders, they look almost armored because the shoulders and the upper body are very thick, and then most of the arms get to be again kind of insectoid and spindly insect legs, and then they come into a big meaty wrist and hand area. Mm-hmm. Come round. And we've got a nice surfing wade. Hanging 10, hanging loose. And we've got some baggies. There's some baggy surfing shorts. In fact, they're going to be aloha shorts. Just again, because that amuses me. Are you sensing a theme here? And there we go. And we've got a nice, he's looking all right. This is not his first wave, I don't think. Probably come as no surprise to anyone that I am a great admirer of Hokusai and his woodblock prints, and the great Kanagawa wave, chief among them. But I'm not awfully good at drawing it. I did a homage to the Great Wave. Now I've reversed it. The Great Wave, the waves are going left to right, and I've made them going right to left here, for no reason other than I like to be different sometimes. If I'm not going to get it 100% right, I may as well make it my own, right? Um, so saying I did a an homage to the Great Wave drawing, and I put surfing in that too. I had a bunch of people surfing on it. And they were falling off the surfboards, and about, I don't know, a month after I finished, a friend of mine looked at it and said, "I know why that guy's falling off the surfboard." And I said, "Because it's funny." He said, "Well, yeah, but it's in the drawing. I know why he's drawing off. He's falling off the surfboard." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because he's got two left feet." And in fact, looking at the drawing, I had in fact drawn the character with literally two left feet. I'd put the big toe on the wrong side of one of the feet. So, without really even intending to, I I put a little joke in my drawing. Here we go. We've got an Umber Hulk surfing Mount Doom, surfing Mordor. Come back, come back. All right, let's turn the sketch off and see what's going on here. See how things are looking. I think I want to add a little reference to where the white caps will be on these waves. Maybe a little extra detail on the Umber Hulk. Here and there, just to help make things pop. And we've got ourselves a surfing Umber Hulk. What do you think? I think it's all right. Maybe not perfect, but all right. Well, let's go in and add a little bit of color, and then we can move on to one more. All right, we'll start with the Umber Hulk, who is a deep chestnutty brown. Think about a lot of cicadas and other insects like that, and which I guess aren't always that deep a color brown, but when I think about them, that's what they are. And if you look at Umber Hulk, Umber being the in its name, you know that he's going to be of a brownish, earthy hue. I can already tell I'm going to want to drop the opacity on this. If I was taking more time, if I was doing this as a more careful drawing, I'd change which brown I was using. I think I went and picked one that's maybe a little more brown than a little darker than I really wanted. But again, dropping the dropping the opacity will allow me to make up for that. And we're going to give him his flowery aloha shorts. We're going to give him a nice kind of magenta surfboard. Looking all right. We're going to come back again for a nice sea blue. Increase the brush size again while we put that in. One of the other things that working with is if I do all this without lifting the pen, it creates one solid color. But if I lift up the pen and then come back in, it looks like I'm coloring on top of it. So I want to create shapes with these colors. I think we'll drop that color a little for maybe a little more. Maybe a little bluer behind it. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Then come in again and come with a darker color. Just to add some sense of shadow and shape. Like that. It's gotten very quiet in the chat room, which is okay. You guys don't have to say anything, but it makes me fear that I may have lost the chat connection. So if anyone is just sitting there with nothing to do, just pop a little comment in there just to ease my mind. Not that it's going to stop me. Come on. Pop, thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Got it. All is well. All is good. I was just being a nervous Nelly. I think I'm feeling like something's going on and I need to relaunch my app. Sometimes when you get going, it stops responding well, and then just have to restart the program. Here we go. That's looking all right. And then we're going to come back in the background, and we're going to a less. Oh wow, that's way too strong. There we go. We're going to come in with a less rich brown for the barren lands of Mordor and Mount Doom. And maybe a darker version for the hills behind them. Now, if I was doing this as a finished piece, I would be working on multiple layers, so I could fill in without without having to worry about tripping over the colors I'd already put down. But I can't here because, well, I mean, I could do that here, but I'm trying to do things quickly. We're trying to get a lot done in an hour. And I think I'm going to come to a red for the clouds, a reddish gray. But I certainly am going to want a lighter color than that. There we go, maybe. Fiery slopes of Mount Doom. There we go. Wow. Again, for sure, I definitely want to drop the opacity on these colors. %? Yeah. Yeah, that's looking better. Alright, we got a Surfing Umberhulk. Surfing Mordor. Cowabunga Mordor. Come back to the line layer. I will go back to my regular inking pen and black line there and put a stan on it. And our second piece will be done. We've now got an Umberhulk surfing and making Sauron jealous. The sandy beaches of Mordor, exactly. What do you think? The orcs ran around barefoot all the time because they liked it? Yes, it was nice sandy beaches. All right. Looking good, looking good. Let us now do one more, and then we can wrap it up for the week. Let's go back here. Close that out. Come back to our tables. And see what the dice have to say for our third drawing. So who will the third drawing be? It'll be 3, and what will be 2? All right, 3 and 2. So that would be a deep one. Again, back to the ocean theme. A deep one and a penny farthing bicycle. All right. Hey, Eagle BP, thank you for showing up. That's Keith, right? I don't remember your name. If I got it right, then I remember it, but I don't remember for sure that I remember it. Um, so yeah, a deep one and a penny farthing bicycle. That sounds interesting. Man, I might want to spend a whole hour drawing that for real. Okay, we're gonna come. We got the right inking. We're gonna turn off the table and go to the sketch layer. And let's see. First things first, let's draw the penny farthing. So we need a big circle. Now, thankfully, this app lets me draw a rough circle and it will turn it into a perfect circle. Right now, I'm just roughing this out right now. All right, so that's roughly a penny farthing bicycle. Let's grab that, make it a little smaller, zoom in so I can do it. Now, a deep one, for those of you who don't know, are, well, they're like fishmen. They're like, think creature from from the Black Lagoon. The Blue Lagoon, that's a different show altogether. I think that these are going to need to go higher. All right, so let's see. All right, I'm getting the physical positioning. It's a little difficult to do. So when I put this on the list, I went and looked up because I had a rough idea what penny farthing bicycles look like. But it's funny because they've got the big wheel and they got one spoke and then one. They don't have gears. There's just pedals that are tied to the center of that, and a steering wheel and one thing. This back wheel isn't really attached at all to the main thing. The whole way it functions is this one wheel, and then you got a seat on here, and so it's almost like a unicycle that you're riding side saddle, or so it seemed to me. That's how I made it stick in my brain. All right, I'm getting this in. Got it. All right, so now we'll make this take up a lot more space on the page because I don't think we need any background for this. We've just got a a deep one on a penny farthing bicycle. Maybe we'll take the hat off his head and he can be tipping his hat. A nice bowler hat, of course. Okay, there we go. There we go, there we go. Let's come over and turn on the lines layer, and we're going to do some drawing. Turn on the lines layer, and I'm going to start with, I'm going to start by making the lines a little thicker again. Start with his mouth. You know what? Right off the bat, I like it. It's hitting what I had in my mind. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's what I wanted it to be. And really want to. One of the things you've probably heard me say this before. You want to be another reason you want to be confident with your lines is if you're not, you wind up getting lots of little scritchy, scratchy lines all over the place, and it becomes very difficult to see what you're doing. It becomes difficult for your audience to understand what it is you're drawing. Whereas if you put just one strong line in, even if it's not perfect, it's a lot easier. It reads clearly, and you can know. You look at it, you'll know. Okay, it reads clearly, and it doesn't say what I want it to, or it reads clearly, and it may not be perfect, but it sells the idea I have. Now, some of that is going to have to fall. I put both legs in, but we know that some of this is going to have to disappear because the apparatus has to go there, and the tire. I'm going to get his hand out of the way a bit there so we can have the steering mechanism. It's a very simple apparatus, this penny farthing bicycle. And again, I'm going to draw a circle, a rough circle, and if I hold my finger down, it becomes a perfect circle. It becomes the circle I want it to be. Of course, I also want it to be a tire, so I'm going to have to do another circle. Go. I should be able to fill that. There we go. Look at that. Looking good. All lines go back to the center. That's how that works. Okay. Again, I'll erase some of it. This is just one solid, pretty solid anyway, piece of metal. That, oh, come on. My app is just feeling its oats today. It just wants to be a pain in the posterior, and it's doing a good job of it. Here we go. Look at that. Coming together pretty quickly. A dash little deep one, or you know, certainly I think that there are a lot of Lovecraftian folks who might say this is much more a Gilman than a deep one, but whatever. It's my show, not theirs. Okay, so turn off the sketch line. Look at what we've got here. That's looking pretty good. We're gonna have one spiky knee. We'd better have two spiky knees. Oh, I didn't. Those. I'm gonna have to maybe take the whole thing and rotate it a little. Right now, so here's what I'm seeing. Right now, that rear tire is clearly lower than the other tire, so it kind of looks like he's doing a wheelie. But if I take the whole thing and I just rotate it a little, then it looks straight. There we go. Easily fixed. Okay, so now we'll come in and add some colors. This is going to be heavy on the greens this time. I was looking at the drawings I did last week for last week's show, and uh, found that I really do love that owl bear with the ice cream cone and the uh, little girl holding the ice cream cone up for him. I'm definitely going to be doing something more with that. Exactly what, I'm not sure. Well, you know what? That's I got a pretty good idea. I'm definitely going to redraw it in a more completed fashion, more thoroughly rendered fashion, and I'm going to probably the next time that Sticker Mule has a deal of the kinds of stickers I like, I'm going to make a sticker out of that. If I do any more with it, I don't know. I mean, there's other possibilities. I could make a print with it. Prints don't sell very well. Prints are not a high market item. But every once in a while I like to do them, so I've got something new at a convention. Maybe we'll give him a red bicycle. Something very strange is going on tonight with my color wheel. It's not responding as quickly as it usually does. There we go. There we go. That's about it, really. That's again, it's just not responding. A deep one on a penny farthing bicycle. And if I had any good old timey music, I'd play it right now. So there we go. We've had another good hour and a little bit. We've got a deep one on a penny farthing bicycle. We had a Umber Hulk surfing the waves of Mordor. One doesn't just surf into Mordor. And we had adventurers on a fishing trip. Let me go back and look at that penny farthing bicycle thing again. Yeah, you know what? I don't even think I think I don't. I can just leave it those colors. I hit the right colors that time. I don't have to mess with them at all. So there we go. That's a bunch of random encounters. It was pretty random. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Dale and Dave and Linnea and Gus and Jimmy and Keith And who else was here? Penny was here for a while. I don't know if she's still around. Roger was. Oh, I missed Roger. Roger, sorry, I missed you entirely. Um, Serenity Studio was here. Uh, it was a good show. I had a good time. Got some drawings done. I hope you guys maybe were drawing along with me, just or drawing for your own sake. If so, and if you send it to me, I will share it with the world in our next episode. Um, until then, I'm going to sign off now. It's been fun. Have a good time. Those of you who do not know, let me just come over here. You can find me online at the best place to look is at Instagram, uh, where my username is Stanex. It's because my website is in a rebuilding mode at the moment. Although you can find me at Facebook under that same name and at Twitter under that same name. Stanex is what to look for. You can find me at Blue Sky under that name. But Instagram is where I make sure to put all of the art that I do publicly. It all goes up there, so it's easy to find. If you like what I do and you want to support it, you want to help buy me more time to spend drawing, you want us to be a patron of the arts. That sounds nice. Does you want to be a patron of the arts? Well, I'll tell you where you go. You go to Patreon, where I have a small community of people who like what I do and want to get some looks behind the curtain and some little thank yous from me on occasion. So check it out. I mean, if you've got it's the equivalent of buying me a coffee once a month. You want to buy me a coffee once a month? You want to take the equivalent of sitting down and having a nice warm mocha with me? Patreon's a good place to do that virtually. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Please, wherever you are, whatever, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, please click like. Please leave comments. I mean, those of you who are in the chat room left comments, but leave comments, share it, subscribe. These things really help, and what they help me do is to get the word out to other people who might like this too. People, the algorithm, as it were, is very good at identifying people who like the same kinds of things as you or me. And so if you take the time to tell it, oh yes, I like this, and I take the time to interact with this, then the algorithm will say, maybe other people who like the same sorts of things would enjoy this too, and it will share it with them. That's how it works, crazy as it seems. So yes, please, if you get a chance, ring the bell, hit the like, give the thumbs up, hearts and likes and kisses all around. Until next time, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye, everyone.